This week on Edge, we visit Masters of Motion Capture Flying Circus, we check out the HP Spectre X360 Ultrabook, and we see how science concepts are brought home to learners at the recent Science for Resilience Expo. The Edge team is out at the Science for Resilience Expo at Kwalata Lodge in Dinokeng, and these learners are about to get hands-on with science. Ready? Yeah! Ready? I'm with Sharp Pretorius, who is one of the co-founding members of Kwalata Lodge. Now, congrats actually on your 4th Science Expo being held in this magnificent spot. I love the fact that you've taken science and put it in the bush for a day. Now, tell me a little bit more about the Kwalata Community Development Initiative.
Right, Kwalata basically started as a youth camp, and that basically started about 25 years ago. And this basic bush camp changed into a lodge, which now accommodates about 80 guests. And we've got a youth camp that sleeps 160 kids. During winter periods, we thought of why not change this camp into a science center. And if you think of science from your school days, there's actually one word in front of that, meaning nature and science. So science comes from nature, so why not do it out here in the Danine Game Reserve, which we are part of. And let's see how we can bring the kids from our community, from Hammanskraal, Temba, give the guys the opportunity to come and interact, igniting their passion for science. Coming from rural and township schools, kids don't always have the opportunity to see the relevance between taking the subject science and that, yes, one day this is actually going to improve my life and make a change in my community.
Tell me about the mix of kids, how many schools, what's the duration of the expo?
Okay, right. The audience would be from grade 6, so primary school, going into high school. Number of kids attending, approximately 1,800 learners over the 3-day period. And then in the afternoons, we also have interactive workshops. On the Tuesday, we had NGOs visiting, like working on fire, working on water. That's about 150 people. And then on Wednesday afternoon, we had 120 teachers and principals for a teachers workshop. Also, basically, getting exposure to what this event is.
I'm with Lara Roll of the USAID Southern African Resilience Program. Now, you are the outreach and communication specialist. What is the significance of being part of this expo?
Well, we partnered with Kwalata Community Development Initiative and Science Unlimited on this project because USAID believes in investing in the youth, because they are the next generation that needs to take care of our natural environment. So through this Science for Resilience Expo, we look at teaching kids about climate science, climate change, natural sciences, and the importance of water. We also raise awareness about these kids being part of a much bigger picture, which is the Limpopo River Basin. We here in Gauteng, including parts of Northwest and Mpumalanga, the Limpopo, and neighboring countries such as Botswana, Zimbabwe and Mozambique, is part of this Limpopo River Basin. And we've got about 18 million people that live in this basin who all rely on the natural resources and the water in this basin. And the reality is that there's not enough water. So through creating awareness at the Science Expo about this basin and the complex interconnectivity of people and industries and the environment, natural environment and water, and with negative impacts that we can expect from climate change, we want to instill a sense of responsibility and responsible living in these kids, that through certain practices like water conservation practices, they can actually have a positive impact on the basin and build the resilience of the basin to negative impacts such as climate change.
Right, Summer, so I find you in the petroleum department at the expo, but there are some very pretty rocks around you as well. Tell me more about how they function and how it all fits in the puzzle.
Most of our minerals here, we show them to the students so they can be used in our daily lives.
Okay, what can you show me that contributes to something really cool?
Something really cool. A coal, which is used to generate our electricity. So that's also part of energy, which is this one. This is an anthracite coal. It's the purest form of it.
But I don't know how much work coal is doing these days with all the load shedding. Hey, Zama?
Are we finding more coal? I don't know. I don't know as well.
Our work here is not done just yet.
Yes, that's why we need more scientists, like these young scientists in front of us.
So are we going to have more scientists?
Yes! All right, concentrate. Hold it. You ready?
I'm with Mr. Barry Mayer, the explosive scientist, as I have crowned him personally, because your show literally ends with a very big bang. What are some of your favorite physics tricks?
Electrical tricks. There's so much that you can do with electricity, as you can see. Electricity is the basis of everything. So we show them electrostatics, we show them high voltages, we show them lightning, we show them a little bit of chemistry involved. So the whole idea is then to tie up the whole of science to show that there are no watertight compartments in science. Everything is highly dependent on one another. In fact, physics is really the queen of the sciences. We show physics in chemistry, and we show how physics is part and parcel of everything, exchanges of energy and this kind of thing. So this is what we attempt to show, and hopefully the kids remember.
I'm with Dr. Richard Chernus from Science Unlimited. Now, you're a co-partner of this expo. Why is this such a great and exciting opportunity for science and for you?
This is our 39th Science Unlimited around the country since 2004.
I think that deserves a good high five.
And
Yep.
we've reached over 250,000 learners in that time.
Congrats.
We partnered with Kwalata 4 years ago, deciding to do a Science in the Bush, as Charles Pretorius likes to call it. And we're very happy about our decision to partner with them for specifically this project.
Dr. Richard, we heard that once upon a time you were also a spy agent and actually sent a few over to see how Edinburgh did their science festivals and then did that in SA.
Yes, I was the spy.
Self-inflicted.
I was managing director of the Grahamstown Foundation. We had the National Arts Festival going for years, and then we heard about Edinburgh that launched the world's first science festival. People were very skeptical. You can't have a science festival. And we went to spy, and we saw just how incredible it was. Brought the recipe back to South Africa, and that's how the Sci-Fest Africa started in, if I remember correctly, 1995. And so when I moved back to Pretoria some years later, took once again the same recipe and launched Science Unlimited. So this all goes back to an espionage adventure in Edinburgh some 20 years ago.
Well, Dr. Richard Chernus, thank you for prescribing the perfect science chemistry.